So right now, let's jump in. I want to show you this first story from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and it's a really, really amazing piece of disinformation. And I also want to go through a bunch of these like fake news journalists smearing Kyle Rittenhouse. It's insane, man. So earlier today, as I mentioned, Donald Trump gave a press conference where he said, this kid looked like he was being attacked and he may have been killed if he didn't do something. This is what the story says from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. They say Trump mischaracterizes Kenosha protest shooting, defends Rittenhouse evening before his visit to the city roiled by unrest and violence. They say the president also mischaracterized the incident in which Kyle Rittenhouse was accused of using an assault-style rifle. Quote, "That was an interesting situation. You saw the same tape that I saw," Trump said Monday during a White House news conference. "He was trying to get away from them, I guess. Looks like, and he fell, and they were they very violently attacked him, and it was something we're looking at right now, and it's under investigation. I guess he was in very big trouble. He probably would have been killed," Trump added. They go on to say, "At the point of the evening, the president describes the teen had already shot and killed one protester, according to the charging documents and video footage. Trump's latest comment set the stage for what could be a highly charged visit from the most powerful man in the world at a time when the community is still recovering from a week of shootings and unrest that left a black man paralyzed, 2 white protesters dead, and businesses looted and burned." So here's the first question I have. I think I'm just so tired of saying it. They don't have Google, do they?
I guess not.
They don't have, they listen, all too often, you've got 3 journalists on this. Let me tell you a story. I went to a thing called News Exchange once. They flew me out to Morocco and they had me up on a stage in front of like 1,000 journalists watching. And I looked around and I was asked about like the state of journalism. This was back in 2012. And I said, every single journalist should be fired. Every single one of them, because they have no idea what they're doing tech wise. They have no idea what they're doing security wise. And there needs to be like a purge and a start over. And that was in 2012.
Wow. Have things improved, Tim?
It's gotten way worse. And they got, they were mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, someone from CNN tried offering me a job and I was like,
are you joking?
Get out of here. And it's funny because it was like 2012. So I was like kind of broke and just, they invited me there because I was doing this coverage. But anyway, I bring this up because this story from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel has 3 reporters.
Count them, yeah.
3 reporters on this, and not a single person could have done a Google search over this.
Quantity.
Come on, man. Look, the people, all of you listening probably did a Google search and found more information than they did. Mm-hmm. So is it intentional that they're lying? Specifically when they say that Trump mischaracterized the incident, and the mischaracterization is they're saying at that point he actually had killed somebody. You see, they're omitting context to what Trump is saying. Mm-hmm. The New York Times has the story. I'm not sure if, where did I put, there we go. Check this out. First shooting. While Mr. Rittenhouse is being pursued by the group, an unknown gunman fires into the air, though it is unclear why. The weapon's muzzle flash appears in the footage filmed at the scene. Rittenhouse turns toward the sound of gunfire as another pursuer lunges toward him from the same direction. Rittenhouse then fires 4 times and appears to shoot the man in the head. You want to know what's crazy about this?
What's that?
4 times, they say. Mm-hmm. The medical examiner said he was hit 5 times.
So
actually,
somebody else
fact check me on that. Can you pull that up?
I believe that's true. I'll look it up. Yeah.
And one of the shots was in the back. And so...
Yeah, I remember you telling me about
I tweeted about this. I think the medical examiner said he was hit 5 times. So make sure you can fact check me on that one, because this is where it gets crazy. The New York Times says he fires 4 times. Okay, maybe he only did. I asked this question on Twitter when I took a screenshot from the medical examiner's report, and it said he was hit, once in the back. And so I was like, how did Kyle Rittenhouse turn towards him as he was lunging at him and hit him in the back?
Well, they said they saw another muzzle flash, so I'm assuming that somebody else was shooting as well.
Well, what the New York Times is saying is the muzzle flash was fired into the air. Could they be wrong about that? I mean, it's far away.
Yeah, it's grainy.
That'd be an amazing, if that person's firing a pistol from that range, like they
hit him. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. They know how to fire. It's possible. I mean, I'm not a gun expert or anything, but my question was, how did he get hit in the back? And some people said if he was lunging and got hit and spun, it would have easily hit him in the back. But if they're saying, did you find it?
No, I'm still looking.
I think I have it on my Twitter. If you go through my Twitter, because I tweeted, I asked the question. I think I linked to it.
Yeah, but I could find it.
Yeah, five balls. You look that up and we'll keep talking about it. So anyway, the point is, Trump didn't mischaracterize it. The dude was being chased. The New York, I'm on the New York Times. Is the New York Times not credible enough? And which reporting should I trust? The Milwaukee Journal Sentinel that says Trump is lying, that omits most of the details of the incident, or the New York Times that does a detailed breakdown going through video after video? I got to admit, the New York Times, I think, did a really good job on this one. So he turns toward the guy, and the guy lunges at him first. Okay, what do you think everybody else said? All these woke journalists. Oh, man, I've lined up a bunch of tweets, and I have too many. Here's a guy. Daniel Dale says, asked about Kyle Rittenhouse, supporter accused of murder. Trump says he's looking into it, but adds, that was an interesting situation. He was trying to get away from them. Looks like, and then they very violently attacked him. He probably would have been killed. I've actually seen a lot of people very critical of this tweet, but I honestly don't see anything wrong with it. It's true. Rittenhouse is accused of murder. I mean, I would say that it looks like self-defense, but he was quite literally charged with it. So this to me is kind of just, neutral. But a lot of people took issue because they want him to bring up the greater context, which I believe would be prudent to do. He didn't do it, but I'm not going to rag on him for just giving us like a kind of a bland quote from Trump. However, the recount. Trump not only refuses to condemn Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old who killed 2 protesters, he defends him. They violently attacked him. Yeah, we get it. I want to say something because I was reading this account. Did you find the thing yet? No? It's on my Twitter. Just scroll through it. I was reading this account from a medic who was talking about the skateboard guy who got shot by the Kenosha Kid and how she ran to him trying to render aid and that his girlfriend was screaming. And I'm like, yeah, dude, this is horrifying. I'm sad for the dude. I don't want anybody to get hurt. The dude with the skateboard should not have gotten shot. But bro, you don't run at a dude with an AR laying on the ground and grab the barrel of the gun and try and pull on it.
That's suicidal.
It really is. Sure, the left is trying to claim this guy was a hero or whatever, but he hit him over the head with a skateboard. To what degree? Because I'll tell you this. I watched the video, and it doesn't look like he did a full swing bash, but at some point the skateboard comes in contact with the kid's head. Then he tries grabbing the barrel of an AR. I mean, dude, at a certain point, like, you got to back away. This kid's being chased. This is the big problem with mob violence, is that I've mentioned this, seeing it like at the G20. I think it was the G20 where Luke Rudkowski got attacked.
Oh, yeah. Someone
just pointed at him and screamed Nazi, and then random people started beating him, and he wasn't. And so what happens if you're minding your own business and someone screams, that's the guy, and they start attacking you? Then, yeah, sure. When they frame it like the skateboard dude was a hero, I guess in the context where he had no idea what was going on and tried attacking a dude with a gun, sure, you could argue that. But when you look in the bigger picture of things where Kyle is being attacked and chased by a violent mob that was out destroying property, and that dude did not live in Kenosha either, I'm sorry, man. It's not heroic to run up to a random guy you have no idea what's going on and try grabbing the barrel of a gun.
Well, USA Today was saying that the victim in Kenosha might have been trying to save someone. And honestly, I don't think it matters what he was trying to do if he was part of the mob that was chasing him.
Which guy? Rosenbaum?
Yeah.
That was the first guy who got hit.
Yeah.
Another important thing, too, is the medical examiner report said he got a graze to the head, not a bullet through the head. And I've seen a lot of people claiming that Rittenhouse shot a guy in the head, and that was the initial tweet that went out.
Right.
People thought it was a hole in his. I even said the same thing.
Yeah, it looked like
medical examiner said it was a graze. It was a graze.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that he actually died because I think it hit his internal organs.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep. So a lot of these people have no idea what's going on. And to be fair, look, I've got videos that I did at the time, which are inaccurate at this point. Like, that's more hard, yeah. Information has come out. And I think that's why, it's important to track. You haven't been able to find it?
No, I'm still
on my Twitter thread. Just scroll down.
I did, yeah.
Keep going. It's there somewhere.
I will.
All right, here we go. Ryan Saavedra quote tweeted this dude, Brian Lur. What is it? Brian, I don't know, Cohen, whatever. Oh, Brian Tyler Cohen. That's his name.
Yeah.
He said the ADL looked into Rittenhouse and found no indication from Rittenhouse's social media footprint that he is connected to any extremist movements. Okay. The criminal complaint filed by authorities said that Rittenhouse was attacked while running away. In which case, I actually have the article from the ADL. This will be interesting. They say, okay, no, this is just a CBS. I'm not going to read through the CBS article because I think we've gone through the gist of it, but you get the idea. The ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which tracks extremist activity, told CBS News there were militia members at the Kenosha protest, but found no indication from Rittenhouse's social media footprint that he is connected to any extremist movements. His posts indicate he is extremely pro-police, and appears to have been a former police explorer, a career-oriented program for youth considering a career in law enforcement. Many of his social media posts use the phrase Blue Lives Matter.
Oh my. According to the ADL, I'm assuming that the ADL thinks that's some kind of hate organization.
If the ADL has gone that far as to say, we didn't find anything, there you go.
That's thorough.
Yeah, that is thorough.
That's pretty good.
The Anti-Defamation League has like a really broad view of what right-wing extremism is. Like anti-government anarchists are considered right-wing.
That's amazing to me.
So I guess they call black supremacy left-wing.
Oh, you want to know what else they do? When you go to their page and you're looking at everything they list as like hate speech or hate organization, like dog whistles or something, they have an entire list of numbers in different sequences that they consider forms of hate speech. I found it, by the way.
Oh, you did find it?
Yeah, I did find it.
Oh, okay. You have the article.
It says, serious question, how do you shoot someone in the front and the back at the same time?
But the story's there, right?
You have a screenshot.
There's no link?
No, just a screenshot.
What? I forgot to link it?
What kind of journalist?
Can you quote some of the text and then Google search it to find the article?
Sure. I'll do that now.
Because I'm pretty sure the dude got hit 5 times. Yeah. I could be wrong about that. So see what you can find.
Let me see.
Here we got a this is where it gets fun. We're just basically going through tweets from people who are lying about what happened.
It's great.
Lily Adams says White House has been given 2 chances to disavow murder committed Rittenhouse, the first press secretary, now Trump, and has taken a pass both times. So this is actually really funny. I mentioned that Trump liked my Twitter thread, and I've gone through it a couple times, but I'll give you the gist of it, because I think it's probably important for me to explain like the point of what I was saying. But Kayleigh McEnany was asked about it, and she said that Trump's intent was to highlight information that many people probably didn't know. And yes, and then Trump was directly asked about it, and he said basically the same thing. But the gist of my thread, okay, it's because I think it's like 11 tweets, is that it ends with me calling Trump an a-hole.
Right.
But I'd rather vote for an a-hole than a coward. And I think it's fascinating that Trump liked the thread. I'm like, hey, all right,
funny.
I think Trump would find it funny. He'd be like, all right, I'll take it. I think he said something like that once, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah.
He was like, I'm a mean guy, but I work for you.
Exactly.
So he probably laughed when he saw it. But the general idea is, I wrote, Kyle Rittenhouse is a good example of why I decided to vote for Trump. Violent extremists were destroying people's lives for months. 30 people were killed. Democrats rejected federal assistance every time Trump offered it. Media lied about Trump deploying secret police. Okay, so this is a very broad brush I posted here. I didn't say anywhere in the tweet I supported Kyle Rittenhouse. Of course, that's an opinion, and they'll probably argue that because I'm just reporting what the New York Times said, that is support for or defense of. What I should have said is that the Kyle Rittenhouse situation is a good reason.
Right.
That you've got violent extremists. Look, I said, violent extremists are destroying people's lives. Democrats won't accept Trump's help. What I was trying to say is none of this should have happened. The kid shouldn't have had to have been there.
Exactly. He shouldn't have needed to be there.
Right. And the police should have been out there. They shouldn't have been trying to defund the police. If the governor just accepted first, I think the locals, the city council or whatever, asked for way more National Guard.
They did, yes, I recall.
And the governor said no. And Trump's repeatedly offered federal assistance, and they've all said no. It shouldn't have happened. Kyle should not have had to have been called by anybody to go out there. I think it was foolish that he went out there. Because, look, man, I've been on the ground with these violent riots. I've seen what these people do. And you need to, that kid probably didn't understand the likelihood that he was going to pull the trigger was like 99.9%.
Yeah, well, he's a 17-year-old kid. He's just kind of going out there to have fun. Nothing's ever going to happen to a teen. Nothing's ever going to happen. Nothing's ever going to go wrong. So
he had good intentions.
Right,
but
the
path to hell is paved with good intentions.
Right, exactly.
The problem is, there's no way to call this one, right? Do you just let violent extremists destroy your town? These people weren't from there, by the way. The Kenosha issued a statement saying out of 100, I think it was 175 arrests, 102 were from outside the city.
Right.
And so was he, but he worked in Kenosha. I'm sure some of them all were from outside the city, but had some reason, to be familiar with the place. But it's, do you do nothing? Do you just sit back and say, well, I guess I lose my business in my life? Or do you say, I need help. The police aren't helping me. And then to what degree do we blame Kyle for being a 17-year-old kid who was asked by locals, can you help protect businesses? And this kid loves cops, and he was probably like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah. Chance, yeah.
And he was rendering aid to the rioters, even.
Right. Well, he started the day by scrubbing off graffiti and cleaning the mess up in Kenosha. And I don't know. The only thing that I can come up with to say is that even if you do decide that you need to step in and do something about it, you sure as heck don't send a 17-year-old kid. You try to make sure that people who are responsible and mature and have a firm grasp of the situation and aren't running around in cowboy boots, which are really
Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, I think he had cowboy boots.
No,
I think that's why
you
he
sure?
fell down. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
poor
dude.
guy. I felt
No
bad
way,
for
no
him.
way. I don't believe that.
Let me look
Is
it
that
up.
is that for sure?
I'll look it up. I'll
So,
fact check
but
myself.
hold on. Let me throw a little counterpoint your way in that
Yeah.
regard. We send 18-year-olds overseas to kill people.
That's fair.
And this kid, he worked in the town. Is a 17-year-old not allowed to defend his own community?
I think he is, but I have a counterpoint to your counterpoint because the 18-year-olds that we send to fight wars are led by people who have experience
That's
and
a
who
good
are
point.
mature. And
Yeah.
there was, as far as I could tell, there's not really anybody like that there.
And
for
they go
him.
through extensive training.
Right.
I mean, the Rittenhouse looks like he had good
Yeah,
good
he
finger,
appeared to be trained. He had
good trigger discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually was talking to a friend of mine who said that she felt what proves intent to kill was trigger discipline. You can't.
What?
Yeah. Because he knows how to handle a weapon, and his finger clearly wasn't on the trigger most of the time. That means he made the decision to move his finger to firing position to shoot those people. And I was like, yeah, to defend himself. Like, what?
Yeah, they're coming at you. They have weapons in their hands, not just a skateboard, man.
This is crazy. But anyway, check this out. This is where it gets funny.
Okay.
So that dude, Brian
yeah.
Tyler or whatever.
Yeah.
Mike Cernovich quote tweets him saying, Nick Sandman's lawyers represent Kyle Rittenhouse. Enjoy those retweets because you're literally going to be paying money for them. And then the tweet got deleted. And I guess he reposted it with a cleaner statement.
Fixed it, huh?
Yeah. So you can't really sue someone for defamation if it's an opinion, you know? So the tweet went away. And I guess it's not the only one. A bunch of other people did too.
There's a screenshot.
Here's the screenshot. We're going to get demonetized because we got some swears in here. It says, Holy S, Trump is defending Kyle Rittenhouse. He's defending a white supremacist who murdered 2 people in cold blood. He defended him from the lectern at the White House. You know, man, I don't know how we're supposed to have a functioning society if people just make stuff up and just, you know what the craziest thing is? Ultimately, that I want to get to here is the gaslighting with Joe Biden. How he's basically... Joe Biden came out and says he's condemned violence on both sides and is challenging Trump to do the same. And it's like, when Trump, the last time he said there were bad people on both sides and some fine people on both sides, they turned it into a smear they've used nonstop. Joe Biden did.
It's so ironic that Joe Biden is bringing this up because he kicked off his campaign talking about the very fine people hoax. And he's like, President Trump, you know, he really likes him some white nationalists or whatever. And he's never let go of it. And he's bringing it up again now.
Well, now what Biden's doing is a clever, linguistic
Twist.
Manipulation.
Yeah.
So instead of saying Trump called white nationalists this, he says, remember what they looked like and remember what he said. Then he says the quote, so he can't be sued for lying.
That's pretty clever.
It is, because it'd be funny if Trump sued Biden for defamation in a political race. It's
That would be amazing.
I know. It's like the judge would laugh and be like, welcome to politics.
Right,
Grow up. You're
exactly.
74. Like, you're beyond an adult.
Wait, so you can sue for defamation if you're a famous person, though, right?
Yeah, it's harder, though.
Okay.
So, Will Chamberlain, who I've actually got one of his tweets, is a better person to talk to, but he'll be on the show, I think. When is he coming on?
On the 9th, I want to say.
Oh, yeah. I've had Will on my show so many times.
Oh, yeah.
But my understanding, basically having talked to Will several times, who is a lawyer, is you have to prove, if you're a public figure and someone defames you, you have to prove they knew what they were saying was false. It's extremely difficult.
Yeah, how do you prove someone's intent?
Messages, emails, but even then,
Yeah.
I think for a lot of this stuff, these people are just, kind of really dumb.
Yes.
And there's not going to be internal communications for a guy who just tweets something out.
Right.
So proving actual mess. Now, I guess the big issue is what's becoming really challenging with these defamation suits is that everyone is a public figure now.
Yeah.
So when it came to Nick Sandman, for those who aren't familiar, he's the Covington kid who was standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. The Native American guy walked up to him, started banging the drum in his face, and then the media smeared him. He's won a bunch of settlements, by the way. But the trouble with him was they tried arguing he was an involuntary public figure, and they were writing about him because it was the news and he was a public figure. And I guess his legal team argued against that, saying he didn't do anything to be a public figure.
Involuntary, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. It is.
Yeah.
So they argued the kid didn't say anything. You can't set that standard. That's insane. But that's where it's getting dangerous. Is Kyle Rittenhouse now a public figure because he's all over the press and social media? I think it's ridiculous to try and argue he is.
I agree.
Because he didn't say anything to anybody,
Well,
no, go ahead.
I would say I'm really, really happy that Rittenhouse is being defended by Nick Sandman's lawyer. That gives me a great deal of confidence in what's going to happen. And the sheer amount of video around this incident.
Yep.
There's no, I don't.
There are two new videos that have surfaced, which make the circumstance really interesting. The first is that apparently after the shooting, one of the guys who was with Kyle Rittenhouse says, the police told us they were going to block it off and then send everyone our way because we could deal with it. So I tweeted about that, and I'm like, dude, the Kenosha PD needs to answer for this, because that sounds like they set him up.
Seriously.
And I don't mean set him up like a bunch of cops were like, I got a plan to frame a kid. What I'm saying is, it's an extreme interpretation of what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is the cops knew there were kids down there armed and were like, send the rioters that way. And I'm not saying they had a grand scheme or a grand intent. It was literally just like, they knew the kids were there and they thought, send the rioters that way. It's negligence.
Yeah. See, those are the adults that I would have expected to have taken up like the mantle of being responsible for these kids, and they didn't. It looks like they really failed them.
I think the point you made is earlier is exactly it. While we do have young people who go overseas to fight wars, they have commanders. They have the chain of command. Yeah. Right. They have training and guidance. And this kid probably did have a lot of training, but no one on the ground was seemingly in control of the situation. I'd imagine if they actually had someone older and more experienced, he could have called them, told them like, here's what we do, here's how we do it, here's when we move. And if they were together, he wouldn't have been chased.
Yeah.
So you had a handful of kids and they weren't experienced enough. So when Rittenhouse got attacked and chased, the other guys should have been there to help him out. But there's another video. So there's that one, but there's another one where after the first guy gets shot, Kyle is running and someone said, what happened? What's going on? And Kyle says, I'm running to get the police.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then people start yelling, get him, stop him. And then they start attacking him. The kid was running for the police and they attacked him.
Oh, man.
So, it really is an interesting conundrum. First and foremost, none of them should have been out past curfew.
Yep.
But, yes, none of them should have been out past curfew. I give a little bit more leeway to the kids because they were there in a defensive, right? Protect the businesses, render aid. It was going to happen. The rioters shouldn't have been out there rioting. So I think the fact that they were out there burning down buildings, not this group specifically, but just in general, negates this idea that the skateboard guy was a hero.
Yeah. So if we take into account that the kid who was 17 shouldn't have been out there with his gun, then the protesters should not have been out there either.
Easy.
Like we have to apply the same standard.
So the issue right now that I'm seeing, like the way CNN is framing it and the friends of and these leftists, is that the skateboard guy by himself sees a dude running down the street with an AR and they're screaming, he just killed somebody. And so in his mind, he was like, oh man, I got to stop this guy before he hurts someone else. You see what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah.
The problem is that guy wasn't out there with good intentions.
Right.
So if you go out with the intent to riot, see someone running down the street and then you attack them, I'm sorry, dude, that's not heroic. You don't know what happened. You don't know who you're attacking. And that's actually, it's interesting to me that I've talked to a lot of people about the good guy with the gun scenario. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of conservatives who say, how do you stop a bad guy with a gun, a good guy with a gun? And many of them said the reason it's a bad idea is that if everyone starts attacking each other, the cops have no idea who's the good guy or the bad guy.
Right.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.